Hey guys, so yeah, obviously the first major thing to talk about is how seemingly Big Mom has now betrayed Kaido, and I feel I need to read this chapter several more times in order to get a firm idea on how I feel on how I feel about the logistics of the chapter and whatnot. But as of right now, I'm kind of two minds about this. On one hand, I do find it a touch convenient that Prince Tom was able to so easily convince Big Mom of what happened to Okaburo Town. I mean, don't get me wrong, we don't get me wrong, we pretty much did get a very small moment of Big Mom processing the circumstances and connecting the dots of what Tama told her, but something about the transition itself of the betrayal just felt really off. Almost like you needed like one or one or two more extra panels or half of another page in order to feel in order to make sure that the transition felt natural, but but in the sort of general sense, it still works. And where I do think the betrayal works best, however, is that the whole side plot of Big Mom getting amnesia does kind of come full circle here, and it was actually worth something in the end. As even under the circumstances of not remembering who she is, we pretty much see that Big Mom still pretty much honors and respects those who in the end only from the showed her kindness, and she is, and we do see her get legitimately angry at the people who at Kaido at Kaido for just pretty much like hurting those who were nothing but nice to her. Someone who was a pirate, was pretty much someone who just like Kaido could have just as easily killed them, but she didn't. She was just happy to be shown the kind of kindness that the town did for her. Um, Now, I do think now the bigger question is, do I think she's going to team up with Luffy? No. I think any aspect of her and Luffy cooperating, so to speak, is going to be purely circumstantial of what happens in the moment. Or to put it another way, like if let's just say that pretty much Big Mom and ends up pretty much fighting and ends up in a con ends up pretty much getting back to the battlefield and starts fighting Kaido. If Luffy like gets in her way or finds himself on the receiving end of one of her attack of on the receiving end of one of her attacks in the middle of her pretty much fighting Kaido, that's pretty much Luffy's own fault. Big Mom is not gonna care if Luffy gets hurt as a result of her trying to get revenge on Kaido. Like it's all gonna be purely a circumstantial situation. I think if they ever do team up. Um, With that said, one thing I really like about this turn of events is how, in a certain way, this was actually foreshadowed all the way back in Punk Hazard by Robin, no less. I mean, at the time, Robin's warning about the dangers of of pirate alliances. What was more talking about Luffy's alliance with Law at the time, but to a certain degree, the same general rules apply here as well. Prince Kaido had betrayed Big Mom, so had betrayed Big Mom first, had betrayed Big Mom's trust first. So yeah, she pretty much retaliated in kind. Um, so I like how so I like how it is kind of a bit of universal foreshadowing that yeah, and pirate alliances can pirate alliances also come with betrayals. So yeah. Um, Now, the chapter also set up a fight I was not expecting in the slightest, which is Killer versus Hawkins. And honestly, if there was ever a fight I don't want to see happen off screen or off panel, it's oddly this one. Because even before the tragedy of what happened to him in this arc, Killer has always been one of those characters where even though he hasn't had any real big moments to shine, he still remained kind of one of my oddly kind of one of my favorites, just for how cool his character design is and just the overall like aesthetic and potential I see in what his particular fighting style can pretty much lend to a fight. So I am more than prepared to see Killer finally get his moment, to say the least. But again, that's from just assuming we that's assuming we that we even get to see it. Yeah, that's always my biggest fear of what Oda is gonna do is that he sets up these cool fights, but he sometimes he pretty much we see it happen off screen, which yeah. So I'm hoping we get the fight, but I'm not. I don't know how that's gonna go either. And honestly, with Big Mom having more or less now betrayed Kaido, I wouldn't be surprised if this fight ends with Hawkins like making that very same decision as well. Because at this point, it just seems like the natural route to go that every big name player we know who's been affiliated with Kaido at this point is all just going to turn against him, and yet somehow like this arc, the climax of this arc seems to be going in the direction of everyone just kind of turning on Kaido. I still wonder if that's going to be enough because despite how much damage that Kaido has taken in this current fight with Luffy, I'm still not fully convinced he's gonna lose. I can't even explain why, but it just feels like no matter what's thrown, no matter who throws himself at Kaido or even what's pretty much thrown at Kaido, like even I still feel like he's gonna come out on top. Even if Big Mom again, even if keep in mind, even if Big Mom, well, even if Big Mom just decides to throw herself into the fight against Kaido, I still feel under those circumstances that pretty much Kaido is still gonna come out on top. Like Kaido, it's it's hard again. It's hard for me to explain, but the best way I can is that Kaido just has this presence that's been built up about him that says, okay, you can pretty much kick, punch, and just like throw everything at this guy all day. He's not gonna lose. Like that's the feeling I'm getting right now. I don't know how real that's actually going to be the case, but yeah, I don't I don't know. I again maybe I'll be surprised, but if maybe I'll be surprised honestly if he loses, but it's like I don't know how he's gonna lose, frankly, even now. And just a quick mention right here, but even before Big Mom laid the smackdown on page one, I absolutely love the dose of pain Usopp unloaded on him, and it doesn't even matter whether it did anything or not. I just love seeing moments where Usopp is getting his moment to show what he's capable of. And one thing that I love that's been a constant theme about Usopp's capabilities in battle is that he's at his best in high stress situations because it's there where he's also at his most precise with his attacks. Like every attack he does in a high stress situation matters. It's he knows it's life or death, so he has to make sure each move is on the mark. And 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 I don't know how alone I've been in thinking this, but I've always thought that the concept of the pop greens was kind of the perfect weapon for Usopp. I mean, I know there are people out there who think that the whole pop green concept like pretty much took away what pretty much made Usopp special as a sniper, but in some ways, I think the pop greens and the way he uses them actually make him more versatile as a sniper. Because now his skills aren't just limited to battle scenarios, but to any situations that that any situation that pretty much requires the abilities of a sniper. Like sniping, I feel is one of those weird concepts where it doesn't always have to be that of a battle ability. It can just as easily it can be a very universal skill to have in any situation, and I feel that's kind of what the pop greens do, is that it taps into that versatility for Usopp. Um, the only thing I am critical about right now with Usopp, honestly, is that ever since Dressrosa, he hasn't really been given an opportunity in which he can use or develop his observation hockey. It's kind of, it's been weird how Oda had brought that up in Dressrosa, but ever since Wano, it's just been kind of left up in the open. Like again, maybe it's me, maybe Oda does have like some kind of idea of what he's gonna do with that, but it's like for now, I wish I wish I could see Usopp utilize observation hockey more now. Um, of course, the chapter ends on a cliffhanger with Ulti witnessing Page One's defeat, and honestly, my hope there is that this is heading into maybe a rematch between Nami and Ulti, because I feel that's what Oda is building up here with but with Big Mom having thrown a wrench into everything, I'm not sure what his plans are for Ulti in terms of the conflict with the Straws right now. Because the biggest question mark for me, no matter what route he goes with this cliffhanger with Ulti, is why Oda keeps bringing her back each time. It looks like she's like every time it looks like she's more or less defeated. The first time she ends up popping back up again. So like I'm not entirely sure what he's planning with Ulti right now, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, AnyList, Crunchyroll, and be sure to like. Be sure to like and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. But Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.